What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Allen, and this is the Movie Minute. This episode of the Movie Minute, we're talking about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare by Guy Ritchie. So let's jump on in. This film has a lot of interesting facts about it. First off being that the film was based on this book called Churchill's Secret Warriors, which was based on true events. Several of these events were declassified by the British government several years ago, and so it makes it that much more interesting, especially if you're a history buff. Second of all, the character of Gus, who Henry Cavill plays in the film, was actually the inspiration for Ian Fleming's James Bond.
James Bond.
So this film represents a lot of really big things in British literature and British history. The film essentially surrounds a group of British soldiers who the government kind of tasks to take down the Germans from behind enemy lines. And so it's very much a spy epic. It's meant to be an action adventure. And so Gus takes his band of soldiers, including Alan Ritchson. I don't even know how they fit these guys on the screen. These guys are so yoked and huge. Every single frame with both of them in it, you're just like, that is a lot of man.
And we want to pump you up.
The one major thing I want to talk about really quick before we get into the meat of the review is I really think marketing is doing these films a disservice nowadays. I think that marketing really made this out to be this major action adventure, high energy, just shoot 'em up.
Time to do this, I'll need my own team.
Like very much trying to capture the Inglorious Bastards vibe. And this film is not that. It's unique and it's different, and it's a disservice that marketing tried to trick people to coming and seeing a shoot 'em up action movie when this movie was quite a bit different than that. So let's jump in and talk about what I liked. I like Guy Ritchie as a director, and I really like his style, and he definitely brings his style to this film, and that is enjoyable. I think another thing I enjoyed about this film is I'm a history buff, and it's a really cool look into history. There's a lot of things going on in this film that really happened, and I love that. I love that we're getting a look into the past, into World War II, and just learning some things about World War II and specifically British involvement in World War II that I had never really heard about. Ritchie really has his ebb and flow when it comes to how a film is cut and how it moves, and it really shines in the action sequences, and I very much enjoyed that. I also really loved Alan Ritchson. That guy kind of steals the show in the film, in my opinion. Henry Cavill is very good. He really brings something fun and special to the screen for this film, but I just feel like Alan Ritchson, every moment he's on screen is just wonderful. Alan Ritchson plays this guy called the Danish Hammer, and he just epitomizes that name. I mean, Alan Ritchson is such a beast of a man, but then he comes into this movie with this really silly Danish accent and a quick wit and great comedic timing, and I just absolutely loved every minute that he was in this film. So let's jump in and talk about a few of the things that I didn't like. I think first and foremost, one of the things that keeps coming up a lot in a lot of my movie reviews is this film was just a little bit too long. I think it could have been shorter. Act 2 was fairly bloated and a little bit slow. There just was a little bit too much expositional dialogue going on in Act 2. I really disliked Rory Kinnear's portrayal of Churchill, and I normally like Rory Kinnear. I think he's a great actor. This one just felt hokey. Like how his portrayal of Churchill felt campy and weird, and there was some camp in this film, but Churchill was not where you wanted it to come through, and it very much felt campy and cheesy, and it threw off the film for me. Every time he showed up, I felt like, man, let's move on, and it just wasn't working. The last thing I'm going to share is something that probably is going to ruffle a little bit of feathers, but the writing in this film was weird, and it was weird because I really think that they were trying to get the Inglourious Bastards vibe in this film, and not just like honoring it, but almost copying it. There's a way to kind of like make an homage to something, and then there's a way of copying it. The opening scene in this film feels so much like the opening scene of Inglourious Bastards in terms of vibe, and it just felt off. It felt like they were trying to copy the vibe and not make homage to it, and that took it a huge step down. The plot itself shares a lot of themes with Inglourious Bastards, and so I get it that there would be some similarities, but scenes were in it that really felt like they watched Inglourious Bastards and then modeled the blocking and the pace off of that. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. It really was weird, and it didn't work. From an entertainment standpoint, the film was very entertaining, albeit slow at times. So I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10 for entertainment. And Henry Cavill and Alan Ritchson are just so great together. They have a lot of great chemistry on screen. From a critic's standpoint, the writing being what it was, it really brought it down, I think. And so I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10 from a critic's rating. It just felt off in terms of editing, pace, and writing. So averaged out 6.5 out of 10 for me for Ungentlemanly Warfare. So from a badge standpoint, I would probably give this a couch potato. I think it's absolutely a film that people will enjoy. They're gonna have fun with it. It's just not really worth the theater admission price to me. I think it's fine to wait. If you like this video, do me a huge favor and subscribe. Would love to have you on this journey with me. And until next time, peace out, everybody.